Is this a different plan to scare people into running out and hoarding groceries and food and stockpiling all sorts of things like toilet paper like they did before?
Facebook has enacted an emergency shutdown of 2 artificial intelligence programs. The social media giant leapt into action after it discovered the 2 programs were writing their own code.
Where computers started communicating and then they ultimately developed their own language that no one could understand. These phones, they're watching, they're listening, they're reacting. Plan food shortages, water shortages, import, export bans, tariffs, sanctions. It's never ending. And now we are about to see the beginning of the next pandemic. I'm sitting eating lunch with my family yesterday at some restaurant, Whataburger. What a waste of money is really what it was. But then as we're leaving, I get a notification on my phone. It's got a strange icon I've never seen before. I've never signed up for this. And that is another problem in and itself, but we'll get to that later. It is an update from the Alabama Department of Public Health notifying me that let me pull this up so I can read it correctly. Get exposure notifications in your region. Alabama Department of Public Health can notify you of potential exposure to COVID-19. Where the hell did this come from? It just pops up on my phone. I did not sign up for this. I did not ask for this. And then, if you click on it, it says get notified of possible exposure. It's an app, E for everyone, takes up 10 megabytes, installed from Google Play. Your phone can tell you if you may have been exposed. Why is the Department of Health for Alabama so concerned about my possible exposure? And how the hell can an app tell me if I've been exposed? Like this is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of stupid shit. But this to me, this is the beginning. And when I see stupid things like this pop up, unsolicited, not requested, this to me is a sign and an indication that something else is about to happen. Something is coming because they're trying to warn you. They want you to get notified so that, I don't know, maybe these spikes start coming back. Is this like the beginning of a new plan to force people to shelter in place and stay home and basically shut down business again? Is this a different plan to scare people into running out and hoarding groceries and food and stockpiling all sorts of things like toilet paper like they did before? I don't know, but I don't like it. And I don't know about you guys, but these phones, they're watching, they're listening, they're reacting, they're intelligent. They have artificial intelligence built into them theoretically to simplify your life and ultimately be the smartphone that they are advertised to be. But this AI is something that we seriously need to be concerned about because AI is going to evolve and AI eventually is going to take over. And then once AI takes over and AI starts creating more AI, and we've already seen it before, computers can communicate. There was a test performed where computers started communicating and then they ultimately developed their own language that no one could understand. And they were communicating between the 2 computers, and they had to be shut down because no one knew what was going on, what was being discussed, what was being created, what was being planned. And that is the power and the strength of AI.
At first, they thought it was simply gibberish, but they soon realised the programs had invented their own language and were actually talking to each other. The plug has been pulled on the operation, but the company admits they have no idea what the 2 robots were planning.
Unfortunately, we are tied to this. I mean, unless we are only going to provide in-face verbal communication, just the transmittance of communication through technology requires us to need this necessary evil. And with that being said, I want everyone to be prepared as best possible because we just finished a road trip and we were in some areas that we didn't have great service or great signal. We were able to use our phones to communicate, but we weren't able to upload videos to YouTube like we normally would over the air. So what I determined was we needed a stronger signal to the internet, a higher transfer rate, a higher megabyte per second transfer rate, especially for uploads. So I found there's a company called Starlink. They're linked to SpaceX, and they have a basically a portable, somewhat, or could be portable internet solution. Uh, Pretty much like a giant hotspot, basically, that would allow pretty much anybody to have access to the internet no matter where they were, especially in areas that don't have dedicated hard lines of internet, whether it be cable or fiber. You could use this in areas that you don't have direct access to the internet. We are probably going to invest in this for the simple fact that we do need to have methods of communication. You need to have uh, cell phones. You need to have a sat phone if possible. You need to have internet. You need to have because you can make phone calls over Wi-Fi basically. And we need to stay in communication and contact with one another so we can be aware of what is going on. And having access to the internet may be one of the best things you could possibly do, whereas you can have direct contact and communication to the trustworthy, uh, those who have earned your trust, that provide you sound information through this platform and maybe other platforms, versus only being subject to what the news, the network news stations, the radio, what they want to bring you, because they may have their own agenda, which may not be in your best interest. So we are going to give Starlink a try just to see how it works, so we can have that extra layer of protection and ability for communication if and when we lose access to through traditional methods. So just want to make sure everybody is aware, make sure everybody has a backup plan, and everybody is prepared, because everyone must prepare.
You're looking at 60 satellites hurtling into the sky. And over the next few decades, Elon Musk is hoping to send 42,000 of these satellites to space, 15 times the number of operational satellites in orbit today. It's part of Starlink, the expansive constellation from Musk and SpaceX that hopes to bring the world low-latency, high-speed internet, promising no more buffering and nearly instantaneous internet in every corner of the world.